Hi, I'm Joni Squire, and I'm from the Tonka Boy Media Productions, and I'm here with Craig Point from the Rochester Nighthawks. He's the forward attackman, and I have some questions for him. What is your greatest accomplishment from your lacrosse history?
Winning the 2008 Rookie of the Year for the NLL.
How did you feel when you won that?
I was really surprised when I got the call. The guy told me I was the first to know, but really my mother was, and she come flying out of the house, and she was surprised. So wasn't I.
How do you feel about playing for the Rochester Nighthawks after playing for the Minnesota Swarm?
I was also shocked about the trade and everything. Never really heard nothing about it, but I'm glad I came here. A lot of the guys are great to me, and I played with Evie before, and hopefully we get some chemistry going with the offense.
How do you feel about playing with Gary Gate?
He was always one of my big role models when I was growing up for lacrosse as well. But once I play with him now, it's just another whole different feeling. So hopefully we can get something going too.
Who's your favorite player to play with?
My favorite player is probably Dalby Paulus Jr. Me and him just seem to know where each other is all the time, and we always have ever since I played with him. My first time playing with him was probably in a Nations Cup tournament. So, and from then on, we've just been clicking together.
How do you feel about competing against him this upcoming weekend?
I think it's going to be a good battle. Both teams are kind of on a good roll. They come off a loss, and we're coming off a big win, so hopefully we can keep our streak going.
Do you think if there was more fights in the game that it would bring out more fans?
Um, in a way, I guess, because a lot of fans can get rowdy, and it does rile up the team sometimes, but some people are really against it too. Like, they don't like fights going on all the time. They like watching lacrosse, actually, but I guess it would in a way, and then it wouldn't in a way. So, but most of the time in a fight, that's what pumps up the game and everything. So yeah, I think it might.
As a player, it makes you feel a lot more energized if the crowd is louder.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially after we win a fight, like, because if we win a fight, then the whole crowd's pumped, and then our whole team gets pumped, and then especially if we go score a goal, then that just fires everybody up.
For this year's Rochester Nighthawks, I would like to know what your goal is.
My goal is to get our team back on track, winning strategy here, and go after that cup.
What do you think the main thing is to get checking on your team? Clicking on your team.
Mostly just the little things like we talk about all the time, just getting off the floor, getting on the floor, because that sometimes could come down to a transition goal, and that could be the cost of the offense getting off slow or the defense getting off slow.
Who is your all-time favorite lacrosse coach?
All time. Um, well, the most guy that ever coached me was Jason Johnson, so I'd have to say him.
Why would that be?
Um, he's the one I've been through thick and thin with every lacrosse thing there is probably, so he's taught me a lot as well, and I really listen to his because everything he says pretty much because he's been through a lot. He's won Man Cups, he's Minto Cups, stuff like that, and like he's got the experience, so why not listen to a guy like that?
How is it playing with Sean Evans on the Rochester Nighthawks team?
It's real fun. He's a guy that can really he can shoot the ball, he can pass the ball, he can find you when you're open, everything, and you can also like you can get him the ball. He's a small guy, but he could still get open. And there's just ways you don't think he can get open, and he'll be open out of nowhere. And like there's guys twice the size of him, and he goes running around them, and he's just a great player.
How is it playing with a non-native team?
Um, that's I think it's kind of good trying to get out there and learn new things, learn new styles and different guys. A lot of people around here, like on the reserve, it seems like they try and stick around the reserve more often. So it's good that a lot of guys are getting out and going to college and playing in an LL game. So that's a big improvement, I think.
For the younger generations of your community, what would you like to see happen with them?
I like to see them get more dedicated to the game. Um, like I was when I was growing up. I kind of pretty much taught myself, go to games by myself, watch different players, watch how they played. Wasn't really a defensive guy, but when I was younger, a lot of coaches played that way, and hopefully the up and coming generation, younger guys will look at it as I did, and hopefully they can make it to the NLL like a lot of other natives.
How do you balance your family and lacrosse?
Um, I just try and be there for them, and I know they're always there for me. So that's a big part of my life, and I just go out there and play for them.
Where do you receive the most support from?
Um, Probably my boys. I have two sons. Also my mother, and the rest of my family. They're all supportive, but probably mostly my girlfriend and my two kids.
What's your favorite lacrosse shaft?
My favorite shaft is the gate pro bend. When I was younger, I always used to bend my shafts. Um, I just had a better feel for it. I used to use like the straight kind of shafts, but I went back to a bent shaft, and I just like the feeling of it.
What would you say is your favorite lacrosse head?
A lacrosse head, I always used to use a Proton that's made by STX, but I was introduced by the Torque in my first year junior. So ever since then, my first year junior, I've been using a Torque.
Although you've been playing with the Torque most of your life, since you've been on the Rochester Nighthawks, how has the change from a Torque stick to the new stick that you're forced to use?
For change of it, the first time was pretty hard. It took a while to get used to. We're halfway through the season now, and just starting to get used to it. With the Torque, I was like, right when I netted it was good. So it took a while to get used to, but it's kind of getting good now.
How do you feel knowing that you have to use a Reebok stick? That how does that make your game affect your game?
When I first started using it, like I didn't know the team I came from. Nobody liked them, and I myself personally didn't like them either. But they were saying eventually we had to use them, so I was trying to get used to it, and it was kind of hard coming from a Torque to a Reebok kid. And a lot of guys say they're similar to Warriors or whatever, but I just couldn't get used to it. But now it's kind of sort of getting good, but I still don't like it as much as the Torque.
How did you manage to do that? Did you get someone to string your stick, or did you string your stick yourself?
I just kind of looked at a bunch of different of my sticks, and I always netted my own sticks. When I was younger, I got Jason Johnson to do them, but he was the one taught me pretty much how to net a stick, and ever since then, I've been netting my own sticks.
What is the greatest lesson that you have learned from lacrosse?
The greatest lesson would be to keep your head on the floor and never to get too cocky with yourself.
What is one of the best memories that you have from your past lacrosse experience?
Past lacrosse experience, I would have to say my best one would be the Minto Cup,
Why the Minto Cup?
because that was always my goal, to win a Minto Cup, and it was only won once in Six Nations, and it's good to be a part of the second team that won it. And I had a lot of close losses there, but I finally got one of them.
In your previous years, how was it to lose against the BC team, knowing that you guys had almost won that?
It really hurt. Like, I knew we were that close. There was a couple calls there that were uncalled for, and we just had to deal with it. So that's just a part of lacrosse. You got to fight through things, and that's what we did. And we came back the next year and won it and shoved it in everybody's faces.
What would be a tip for the younger generations of how to get to the position that you're at right now?
Just stick with it. There's nothing out there that you can't do. Just keep that in your mind. Nobody's better than you. You have to prove yourself. Don't be scared of nothing, and just get out there and play like you can.
I'm Joni Squire from the Tonka Boy Media Productions, and that's Craig Point from the Rochester Nighthawks.